Rookie mock drafts hit different around Thanksgiving. We're starting to learn more about this class. We're learning more about market sentiment. I was sent a super flex 1-round rookie mock draft. We're going to cover the picks like always. I'm usually not in on the drafts because if not, I'd be more like ranking. There would be biases. I get a lot of them sent to me and I just cover them on the channel. We've been doing that for years. But a super flex rookie mock draft kind of gives us a small sample of market sentiment that we can look at. Before we dig in though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing a ton of rookie mock drafts during draft season. We're ramping those up throughout the off season. On top of that, we'll be ranking the rookies, getting you ready for your rookie drafts and the NFL draft. Click that button. Stop missing out. But remember, Superflex rookie mock draft, 1-rounder, but it's going to give us a lot of information on what these guys were thinking about when it comes to the quarterbacks. So with our first pick off the board, they're rolling with Ashton Jeanty, and I can't argue against it. He's been amazing, over 2,000 yards rushing. Market sentiment is very high for him on the social media spectrum. Dynasty fantasy football, very productive, catching the ball out of the backfield. 43 receptions in 2023, 18 right now, and we're just blowing up. More than likely going to get first-round draft capital. We did not get a running back with first-round draft capital last year. He'd be the first running back selected in the NFL draft and in rookie drafts if he was out in 2024. Ashton Jeanty has got that upside. Everybody's clamoring to get him. He's going to be a player. Even if he does nothing or if he gets hurt during his rookie season, he's going to hold that value due to what we're seeing right now. People will be wanting him on their dynasty teams. But going back here to our next pick, it's super flex. We're going to see some quarterbacks come off the board. Remember, it's just 1 round. Let me know who you're trying to get here in the early picks here, who you're trying to draft in your rookie drafts. But coming up here, next player off the board at the 102, Shedeur Sanders. A very controversial quarterback. Some people hate him. Some people love him. I'm kind of like right in the middle, and I like him. I do like him because wherever he's been at, he's balled out. He has a big play waiting to happen. I see him getting first-round draft capital. I see him getting the opportunity to be the dude at his new team, being the starting quarterback early. That's what I'm seeing here. And the thing is, we're going to get that first-round draft capital, which means in Superflex, it's going to hold a lot of value. And I look at this as a chip, too. I'm not sleeping on any first-round quarterback. I'll make sure to try to get them, and I'll make sure to see them through and really move quickly with them. I'm not going to sleep on any one of them, Bo Nix or any quarterback like that. Shedeur Sanders can thread it downfield, keeps his eyes downfield when on the run. He's accurate downfield. We have 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions right now, 3,400 yards. Got some games to play. It's been lights out. This Colorado team has turned around, and that's for a reason. It's not like they brought in a bunch of 5-star recruits. It's not like they've really made too many changes. They made a lot in the transfer portal, guys in and out. It's been going back and forth with that. But it's not like they brought in like Ohio State, LSU level competition there from the recruiting spectrum, Alabama guys or anything like that. Not a bunch of 5 stars, not a bunch of 4 stars. We covered the whole recruiting class pretty much last year. Pretty much talked about 5 Colorado Buffalo players. That's about it. A couple running backs, a couple fast wide receivers. That's about it. We had a tackle that was a 5-star, Jordan Seaton. They were not getting much talent from the recruiting realms, and they were still able to get it done. They were getting talent from the transfer portal, guys in and out, back and forth. The thing is, Dion can turn and burn this place and really make it better because that's what happened. Shedeur Sanders has that big playability. He has that upside. He has the potential to turn things around, but he's also a big-time stock. And also in Superflex, you want to look at these quarterbacks as stock, and you also do not want to over-evaluate your evaluation on the quarterbacks because things can change in a hurry. You think this quarterback's good, drops off the table. You think this quarterback's bad, you know, he's all of a sudden rising up being one of the top quarterbacks in the league. We've seen that a few times. But now we're going to our next pick. And these are guys who typically go heavy at the quarterback position. So you would usually expect from this group to go quarterback, 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 then start going running backs and wide receivers. We already got a running back off the board. Our next player off the board shouldn't surprise you considering our field of players. But I am excited to draft him on my fantasy teams. That's T-Mac. T-Mac has upside. T-Mac has the potential to give you top-tier upside at the wide receiver position. He has the potential to be a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy football for years to come. Deep threat downfield, good size, sticky hands, aggressive at the catch point. He's down there. You just chuck it up. Close your eyes. He's going to be making the play. 1,200 yards on the season, 1,400 yards last year, 17 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. Really taking over Arizona, being the man. 202 yards against West Virginia, 115 yards against TCU. He'll just take over games. He's nasty. He started the season red hot. I like T-Mac. He's my wide receiver 1. Easy. Like, he's on another level compared to the other wide receivers. I like this wide receiver class. I think we got some depth to it. But when you're looking at the top here, T-Mac's that dude for me. He's the guy I'm looking at easy, early, often in these drafts. But now we're going to the 104 pick. Quarterback's got to come off the board. I'm looking at him right now, and I liked him. And that is Cam Ward. And the thing about him is we hit the transfer portal. Now, we were like, where is he going to go? And I thought him going to Ohio State would have been a big deal with those wide receivers. I think he would have been shredding the Big Ten. And Ohio State would not have lost to Oregon if they would have had Cam Ward. He's accurate downfield. He can make plays happen. He can throw in the run. Doesn't live with his legs. Looks downfield to make those plays happen. This is a very good quarterback prospect. I would not say generational talent. I would not go to that level. But I believe he's a quarterback prospect that can shred it downfield. He has 37 yards and 34 touchdowns right now. 7 picks. Pushing it downfield. His ADOT jumped over here at Miami to 9.5 ADOT per attempt. Average depth to target. Getting it downfield. I like he's got a little bit of moxie. We're taking over games. Multiple 300-yard games. We've got a 400-yard game there against Duke. Pushing it downfield. The highlights are there. Miami's been turning it around with him. He's been looking solid. He was the top quarterback in the transfer portal. During that time, it's like, where is he going to go? Where is he going to go? Where's the program? And now Miami was starting to get even more talent from that. Cam Ward at 104 is a big get here in Superflex. More likely going to get drafted in the first round. Considering the market of quarterback in this year's draft, I do not see him falling. And I believe his stock's going to rise throughout the draft season. I believe his stock's going to go up. But we're now to 105. Are we going to continue to flood quarterback? Or are we going to start looking at other positions? Next player off the board, we're going running back, Omarion Hampton. Hampton, big, thick, physical runner. Productive. Almost 3,000 yards rushing in the last 2 seasons. Almost 30 touchdowns. We will get there. We'll get there. This dude's productive, 4.3 yards after contact per attempt. I can see him being the guy for his next NFL team for years. I can see him sledding it between the tackles and catch the ball in the backfield. Jack of all trades here. 34 catches on the season, and he can take over games. Against Wake Forest, 244 yards rushing. His last 4 games, over 100 yards rushing in all of them, but most of them he's just straight shredding. Against Florida State, 172 yards, 4 touchdowns. He just takes over. He's a dominant player. I like him a lot. I got him up there. He's fun to watch. He's powerful. I believe he can take over and be a mainstay for his team for a long time and a mainstay in Dynasty for quite a bit. But we got to keep this moving. We got to start looking at some other players here. Other players coming off the board. These guys draft quarterback heavy. However, quarterback's not coming off the board. That is a sentiment the quarterback class here they're not heavily interested in. But we got a guy here named Luther Burden. Big-time prospect coming out of high school. Missouri tried to do anything they could to get him involved during his freshman season. Last year, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. Right now, 665 yards and 6 touchdowns. He's done some good things on the field. He's very electric. He's also good at carrying the ball out of the backfield, getting him some of those rushing attempts. He has 9 this year, 18 during his freshman season. He was called a young Debo by some people during that time. And he's a guy that he can soak up the short targets and get you yards after the catch. One of those types of wide receivers because he's physical but yet explosive. A fun wide receiver here that a lot of people are looking to draft early. I want to see what the draft process looks like with him. I like to see a stock throughout the draft season, whether it stays this high or people start to cool off on him. But Luther Burden as a talent, highly interested in him throughout his collegiate career. But we got to move on to our next player at the 107 pick. Who's coming off the board? They're going with Travis Hunter. The risk here is if he's mainly defense when he comes out, or if he's going to be split. Is he going to get enough workload and opportunity with his next team to be fantasy relevant? Are you going to draft him and then 2 years from now, strictly at cornerback, strictly on defense, and barely on offense? There's a lot of risk with that. And with a draft here in 2024 that was very focused on wide receiver, very deep at wide receiver, you could have just cashed out at wide receiver this year. Look to get your running backs this year and be good, because this is a deeper running back class. There's more talent at running back this year. Not overly talented. It's not like it's going to be an elite class, but it's a good class. It's all right, the running back position. So you could have strategized it like that. Travis Hunter going in the first round here for rookie drafts. There's a chance that he's going to be a mainstay at wide receiver, that wherever he goes, he's going to be getting a lot of targets. He is a big play waiting to happen on any given Saturday. We can definitely say that. 153 yards against Cincy, 125 against Kansas here recently, 99 against Texas Tech. Over 1,000 yards already on the season, 11 touchdowns. Travis Hunter, are you in or are you out? Because I noticed the market is really on the fence with him. Some people hate him, some people like him. Moving on to our next pick. At the 108. This one will cause some controversy. This one, a lot of people won't like. But we're looking at Jalen Milroe. Now, I've talked to some Alabama fans recently. They're not interested in him. They've cooled off on him a lot. A lot of people have cooled off on him, especially with that loss against Oklahoma, completing 42.3% of his passes. I've seen some Alabama fans in the comment section, some of my recent videos, talking pretty bad on Jalen Milroe. Honestly, he's pretty raw as a passer. He's had some ups this season. He's had some big plays. He's tossed a deep ball pretty accurately downfield earlier this season. He's also had his down moments. Honestly, play to play, snap to snap, I'm not too keen on him. He is up there on the rushing production. He's got that Konami code. I'm cooled off on him. I want to see where he goes in the draft. But we got to move on to the next pick here, to the 109. And now we're going to start getting fun. Next player off the board, Quinshon Judkins. I like Judkins a lot. One of the top running backs in the nation. Prior to coming to Ohio State, comes to Ohio State, shares the role. Travion Henderson, good in his own right. Both these running backs are studs. Both these running backs would have been the top running back in 2024 NFL draft class. They would have pushed Jonathan Brooks. They would have crushed Trey Benson. Just better prospect profiles. Judkins would have crushed both running backs. 3.38 yards after contact per attempt as a freshman. Over 3 throughout his entire career. I like to see where he goes in the draft. I imagine second round or higher. I don't see him falling in the NFL draft at all. But we got to move on to our next pick here, to the 110. This one coming off the board. I like this one because I get to talk about the player. I feel like he's going to fall a little bit further in drafts unless he rises his stock during the draft season. Isaiah Bond, former 5-star recruit, has a lot of upside. He's very explosive. A very entertaining, a very talented wide receiver prospect here. 510 yards on the season, 32 balls caught. We're looking at a wide receiver who can get it downfield, who can just take over with big plays. We got 2 drops on the season, 3.2 ADOT, 12.8, 12.9 prior at Alabama. He'll make those big plays, get those big targets downfield. That's good for fantasy football. I want to see what the draft market thinks of him. I'm seeing him go in the second round of a lot of mock drafts. I look at a lot of mock drafts, just trying to search them out. I'd see the market pushing him to the second round right now. Dynasty rookie mock drafts, I believe that's fair right now from what we're seeing out of him from a production standpoint. I think from a talent standpoint, he can push for the first round. I think we got that upside. I think in the right situation with a little bit more development and seasoning, I think we can get there. But we got to move on to the 111. Next player off the board, we're looking at here, Kaleb Johnson, one of my favorite running backs. Been watching him as a freshman. 779 yards, 6 touchdowns, and then we go lights out this year. 21 touchdowns, 1,400 yards, almost 1,500 yards on the ground. 4.5 yards after contact per attempt, 62 missed tackles. Big physical runner with some pop in the step. 164 yards against Maryland, 135 yards against Wisconsin, 109 yards against Northwestern, all in his last 5 games, and he has been burning the field this season, looking good. His draft stock's going up. He's going to be a good value to whatever team drafts him in the draft, because there's going to be a couple other running backs selected ahead of him, but talent, production standpoint, everything involved, this is a damn good running back prospect. And we're going to our final pick of the draft here. The final pick of the first round. Quarterback's coming off the board. Garrett Nussmeier. And the thing is, what I like about him is he's solid in the pocket. There could be bodies all around him. He could be getting hit. He stands tall. He finds his guy, steps up. He's got good reads. He's got good anticipation. He's had some good moments this year. 3,400 yards, 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. A rushing standpoint, it's not there. You do not get your rushing floor with this quarterback. That's kind of scary. We're watching the draft capital on him. That first round draft capital could be there with him. Probably likely, and I think he's going to rise the board throughout the draft process. I think during draft season, you're going to hear a lot of people talk about him. I think his stock's going to rise. I saw him go in the second round of some rookie mock drafts. I think he's going to go in the first round. I think he'll be a first rounder in rookie drafts due to early draft capital at the quarterback position, due to people getting bit by Bo Nix this year. I look for that to happen. I look for him to jump the draft board. For this group of drafters, they like to go quarterback early. They like to go quarterback often. I'm surprised they didn't select him a little bit earlier, but we're good at wide receiver and running back. There's a lot of running backs that didn't get selected that I would want in this first round. There's a lot of wide receivers still on the board. But let me know who you want on your team, who didn't get selected, that got snubbed. Drop that in the comments below. I'll have more mock drafts. More will get sent to me, especially now that they're rocking out, because we've been doing this for years. This is like our third, fourth, fifth year doing this. Like the first YouTube channel, the rock out mock drafts on the YouTubes. Prior to that, I had to make them up. And then people saw that I was making them up, and they're like, here, we did a mock. Take this. And then these people are like, here's a mock, take this. And next thing you know, I'm living in the mock draft. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.